Hey guys, welcome back to Pediatric Therapy Essentials. My name is Dr. Heather Sossaman and I'm a pediatric physical therapist. Well, in this week's video, we're going to be talking about some of my favorite Amazon products, so stick around. Everybody, and welcome back. Well, as I said in this week's video, we're going to be talking about some of my favorite Amazon products. Now, as a physical therapist, for most of my career, I have had to lug around all of the toys and products that I use during therapy sessions with me. And I know most of you out there can sympathize with the giant bags and carts that we usually have to lug around. So, when I am looking for toys and products to use during therapy, I not only want them to be fun, but I really need them to be lightweight, durable, and to serve multiple purposes. Well, in this week's video, I found 5 products that meet those criteria, and I'm going to share them with you today. So the first product on my list is this Melissa & Doug Beaded Dowel Set. Now, I'm going to tell you, I have had this toy for over 10 years, and I use it on a weekly basis. So to say it has stood the test of time is absolutely an understatement. So what I love about this toy is, number 1, obviously it's durable. Number 2, I can use it for lots of different activities. So because the beads can go on a dowel or a shoelace if you throw one in the bag, you can use them for multiple levels of stringing activities for kids depending on what their fine motor skills are. Number 2, I like it because I can use it for lots of different gross motor type activities. So if I put the beads on the floor and I put the dowels on a table, I can have kids squat down, pick them up, and put them on the dowel. I can also place the dowels high enough up so that a child has to stand on their tippy toes to get the bead on the dowel. I've also used these beads in an obstacle course where kids maybe have to walk over a squishy mat to get to the bead, or walk over stepping stones or a balance beam or things like that to grab the bead and come back and put it on the dowel. Now, beading could be considered kind of a younger type skill with my older elementary kids. However, this toy happens to come with these pattern pieces that can go in the backs of the dowels. So, having to follow a pattern can make it more challenging and more advanced for some of your older kids, and they won't think it's so babyish. Now, as you can see, the original toy comes in this giant box, but because I'm lugging it around, I had my dad help me out and we cut off the box portion of this, so I carry the beads around in a zipper bag and I carry the rest of the toy down like this, so it takes up less room in my bag. Number 2 on my list is stacking cones. Now, I'm probably going to show my age as a therapist with this one, because those of you that went to school when I did in the 90s, you probably were very familiar with these cones because they were kind of the standard therapy item that every gym and PT department had. Well, I started using them way back then, and I'm still using them today. So there's several reasons why I really like these cones. First of all, they work really well for kids of all ability levels. So no matter whether you have a really floppy hand or your hand is very tight and fisted, the cone shape allows kids to grab the cone at different areas to fit their hand around it. Number 2, you can use them for hand and reaching and stacking activities, but you can also use them on the floor. So I use them to put ping pong balls, bean bags, or small balls on top of for kids to kick things off of. I use them as a makeshift obstacle course, so if I line them up, I can have kids step over them, or weave in and out of them, or sidestep over them. I also like that they come in a couple of colors so we can work on patterning. And always, I love to work on any kind of squatting and reaching, so you can put these cones in different places, have kids reach up high, squat down low, pick them up, and place them on top of each other to stack. Now, good quality cones aren't super cheap, but they are definitely worth the investment because they're very durable and the set is rather large, and I actually have a set of like 6 or 7 at several different schools, so I could spread my pack out. Okay, next on my list is another stacking type tool, and it's these stacking boxes. Now, these are made of cardboard, so they're definitely not something that you would stand on, but what I like about them is they're a super fun activity for all kinds of gross motor skills. So there's lots of different things you can do with these blocks. Number one, you can place them around the room, have kids grab them one at a time, bring them back to a certain location to build the tower. Now, as they go pick up the items, they can have to walk over mats or step over cones or step on top of steps to reach up and pick them up. Number two, if you're working on sitting balance, you can put them on the floor around somebody and have them stack them right in front of it. They're also great for working on half kneeling and tall kneeling because the height of the tower usually requires you to reach beyond what you could reach in simply a sitting position. The other skill I like to work on with these guys is kicking. So we build the tower and then we stand on one foot and try to kick the blocks down, and the crashing noise, of course, is hilarious to kids, and it's very motivational for them to work on that skill. Just like the cones that I spoke about before, you can also use these blocks for stepping over, walking around, creating some kind of an obstacle course, and they are just a really versatile and super lightweight toy. So number 4 on my list is the scooter board. And I think many of us are familiar with scooter boards, and the newer ones that have come out are super lightweight and easy to carry. Now, I'm lucky enough to have a storage area at most of my schools where I can purchase these items and keep them, but I don't think that carrying one of these in my bag would be too cumbersome. So there's lots and lots of things you can do with scooter boards. If you want to work on upper extremity strength, you can have them lay on their stomach on the scooter boards and pull themselves across the floor. If you want to make it a bit more challenging, I have a painter's tape course taped out in one of my rooms that the kids have to follow when they're on their stomach on the scooter board. You can have them have to pick up or stack those cones we talked about as they move from station to station while they propel themselves. And you can do all of these same sort of activities in the sitting position as well. So if you're in the sitting position and you ask the child to sit crisscross, again, they're working on those upper extremity strengthening and movement. Or if they're tiny enough and they can hold on to the scooter board on the sides, you can have them walk forward with their feet. This gets a lot of great movement for what we call dorsiflexion, or picking our toes up and digging our heels into the ground, which is a really important component of walking. And if you're looking for some heavy work, you could load the scooter board down with weights or canned foods and attach a strap to it and have the child pull that heavy scooter board across the room. So again, lightweight, pretty inexpensive, and really versatile toy. Okay, last on my list is not lightweight, I'm sorry about it, but I have to say it is the one item that I have used and lugged around no matter how heavy it is for the 20-something years I've been a therapist, and that is an adjustable bench. Now, these are not cheap, but in my opinion, it is the best investment in terms of therapy tools that I have ever made. They are very durable and long-lasting, and they just can do so many different things that I don't really know how I'd be a therapist without them. So first, you can work on prone or upper extremity weight bearing on an angle adjustable bench. If a child is just starting out, you put them on the flat bench and they just practice putting weight through their arms. If you have a child with altered muscle tone that's really difficult to position, the bench really is a supportive way that you can kind of get a better handle on them. If they're able to take a little bit more weight on those arms, then you can drop down the front legs and kick the back side of the bench up so they're getting a little bit more weight on their arms. But because the bench is adjustable to several different settings, you can really control how much weight they're getting on their arms. When I work on sitting, I love the multiple options that a therapy bench has on it. So if I want them to sit in a small confined area, I can turn the bench sideways and have them sit like that. If I'm just starting to teach them how to sit and they need to use their hands to hold on, I can turn the bench sideways and give them that place for their hands to rest. Because the bench is angle adjustable as well, I can have better control over how they're sitting when they're in the sitting position. So I have a lot of kiddos that tend to do what we call sacral sitting, right? Where their hamstrings are really, really tight, and when you have them sit down, their bottoms turn under, and instead of sitting on their tush, they're sitting on their sacrum. So the ability to angle the bench to encourage them to come out of that position and sit in a more upright posture is really invaluable to me. I also like that this position is a little bit more challenging and encourages them to not only sit up straighter, but helps us move towards that transition from sitting to standing, where we have to get our nose over our toes to stand up. I also like the sitting position to work on leg strengthening. So for those kids that I work with who are crouchers and have a lot of difficulty extending their knees, I work on sitting on the bench at an angle. And sometimes I'll put a little something more slippery under their bottom so they don't have as much traction between their clothes and the bench, and they're really having to use their legs to push, push, push so they don't slide all the way down the bench. Of course, because it's a bench, I also work on stepping up and down or jumping down from a height. Again, the bench is adjustable, so that means you can control how much height a child has to manage based on their skill level. Okay, well, those are my 5 favorite Amazon products for today. I'm sure I'll be able to find some new ones for you in the near future. Everything that I talked about today will be listed in the description box below with an Amazon link, and if you click on it, it helps this channel out a little bit, so I really appreciate it. As always, if you'd like more information or you'd like to see some images of these products, you can head over to my website, pediatrictherapyessentials.com, and check out the blog post that goes along with today's video. Well, if you're new around here, thank you so much for stopping by today. If you'd like to see more videos like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. And if you did enjoy this video, the best compliment you can give me is a thumbs up and to share it with someone else. Well, I hope each and every one of you has a fantastic week, and I will look forward to seeing you guys next Saturday. Bye!